But something that I failed to do in my personal life is to help people who live just miles away from me in my own city, which namely is the homeless population. So this summer, my college fellowship at my church, we focused on homelessness, and one Sunday we decided to go drive in downtown LA, and we drove through Skid Row, which is basically, according to CNN, there are about 2,000 people living there in conditions such as these, and it's just basically just rows of just tents and rows of people as well. And it's where the highest unsheltered population in California is. And I didn't realize that I could be so blind to the needs of people, of the homeless. And I just hate that feeling of like discomfort, knowing that like I could do something, but I just haven't in my whole entire life. And so this raised the question of what could I do? And so I want to persuade you all today that we need to get involved in our communities and help the homeless and to in our communities. So homelessness in America is a big problem, even though we may not be able to see it as much. According to a Social Solutions article called 2016 Shocking Homelessness Statistics, around 564,708 people experience homelessness in America on any given night, and millions more have experienced at least homelessness once in their lives. According to an endhomelessness.org article titled "The State of Homelessness in America," there's actually been mainly an increase in homelessness in America in 2004, or in the length of time people stay homelessness from 2014 to 2015, and it's about 7 months or so. And the Department of Housing and Urban Development for the United States states that 5 states, California, Texas, New York, Florida, and Massachusetts, all account for about half of the homeless population in America. And if we look at the homeless population in California, it's one of the states in America that contains most of a large portion of the homeless population in America. According to 24/7 Wall Street, around 20%, or like a fifth of the homeless population in all America, reside in California. And according to the annual homeless assessment report by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Los Angeles, where I live, is experienced the largest increase of homeless populations. And as you can see, it basically is one of the top cities in the whole entire nation that contain homeless people. And it's around like 82,000 people out of 3.84 million are homeless. And also, one problem that we need to address is just the needs of homeless people. The main cause of homelessness actually is the lack of affordable housing. The Atlantic states that the homeless often need something more than just money. They need money and direction. And by direction, I mean they need a job and a roof to live in. And even though housing is an issue that these people need, the housing programs taken on by the government usually take a long time to pass due to the political process and just money allocations for such programs. So if there's so many homeless people just surrounding us, like how can we help them? And so there are multiple across America. Just when I was researching, I just couldn't get even a ballpark number of like how many there actually are. And there are so many just poverty relief centers that exist in like urban areas, such as like food banks and homeless shelters. And these are just a handful of the ones that are in LA. If I looked at like my community and where I lived, and these are just a handful out of 100. And these are all committed to the goal of reducing poverty. But the second aspect that we need to consider of reducing homelessness is humanity. And so we need to look at people who are homeless with more than just pity. According to the National Coalition of Homelessness, we must consider giving directly to people experiencing homelessness, which means we don't just give money to them, but we also, maybe if we see them on the street, maybe we could give food to them, or we could also give some of our time away by volunteering at like a food bank or a homeless shelter. And we also can give some of our things away, such as donating to organizations such as Goodwill or Salvation Army. And we don't even have to do much. If you see someone on the street who may or may not be homeless, just give them a smile. And if these ideas are adopted, we can see people becoming more active in our communities. And we can help people without needing to travel to a different country or half a world away. We can learn more about the communities around it, the community around us, and the people who actually live in our cities. And if we join organizations, we can just be a part of something bigger as well. One example of someone who's very involved in his community is Brandon Stanton, the creator of Humans of New York. A quote from him is, "I never know what kind of people I'll meet just by stopping to take a photo." And he's such a great humanitarian example of being involved in his community because he exposes the stories of so many people, of anybody, no matter what their social status is, and no matter what their social status is, and no matter where they came from or what their stories. He just gives such a real example of just the successes and the triumphs, and also as well as the struggles in life as well. So the goal is to look beyond our comfort zone and to become more involved in our communities by helping the homeless who live nearby. So the first step is awareness. We can all look up the number of homeless people the number of homeless people who live in our city. We all have phones, we can all Google it. And you can also look up organizations and charities that help the homeless nationwide or in our city. One organization that I've heard about for many years, but never really looked into, is Habitat for Humanity, which is shown up here. And it provides international and national housing projects to provide housing, revitalizing neighborhoods, and disaster relief. And from the Habitat for Humanity website, they state that they want to build a world where everyone has a decent place to live. And Essentia is one that is LA-based, which is like 20 minutes from my house. And they provide permanent supporting housing programs as well as veteran housing programs. And the next step is actually being involved, which means joining one of these organizations. There's actually a Habitat for Humanity organization in SLO. And you probably maybe don't even have to join one of these organizations. What my college fellowship did the week of Thanksgiving, we went to just Target and bought like plastic bags and just essentials and we would just put them in the bags and just give it to people on the street. And so, even though these are simple solutions, they can provide a big impact in our communities. The government can tackle more affordable housing for everyone across the United States as a whole, but we can do our part to help those in our own cities. We don't want to be blind to the needs of others, but we have to support the people and the homeless people that we see in our cities, and we must do whatever we can to help. We can give what we have away, our time, by volunteering, the things we don't use, by donating, and we have to improve our images of those who are homeless or living on the street, and we have to see them as people. And we can't just walk by them anymore in ignorance. We can impact and change the issues surrounding our homes by supporting and interacting with those who